Shalom, my friends, this is Max Joseph, and I'm here because it is the first day of September, which means it is time for the predictions. To give a quick rundown, the predictions will be a video that will be released on the first of every month and will feature my predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards. Each category will feature the maximum number of nominees possible, with an additional few that are the next in line. And then because pandemic, there's no need to do the big snub that should make it, so instead it's just the additional few nominees that will be titled followed by. And I won't always get into detail about every single pick because then the video would be 9 hours long, so I'll always talk about my pick to win and then some other highlights on the list. And my friends, here we are. This is the last predictions before 2021, and I can't believe that. We're usually really in the thick of things, and we kind of have an understanding of what's to come in the next few months, but this season has really just started. The Oscars are still 5 months away, and I'm having trouble keeping count at this point, but things are coming out. We're getting Mank, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, News of the World, Soul, all of those and more this month. A lot's about to happen, and instead of talking about it, I'm just gonna get right into it. But before I go into my predictions, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and ding that little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. And I said it before, and I will say it again, thank you for voting. You made the change, and I have never been more proud to be an American. Thank you. And so, here are my predictions for the 2021 Oscars, December edition. Best Picture. Mank versus Chicago 7 versus Nomadland. I still think that it's between these top three, and I'm not sure it's going to change anytime soon. I was just on a podcast the other day, which you should check out. The link is somewhere above my head, and it's called Is It Worth It? And we were discussing the fact that the argument could obviously be made that Nomadland is the frontrunner because it won the Golden Lion at Venice, it won the People's Choice at TIFF, it won the Audience Award at San Diego, Montclair, Mill Valley, and was nominated for the Gotham Award. I get it. Make it your frontrunner. My only problem with that is it didn't go up against the heavy hitters that are Mank, Chicago 7, or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Netflix decided to skip the festivals this year, so although I'm sure that Nomadland deserved every award it received, we just don't know how it would go up against the other heavy hitters. Something else. I've talked to people who are comparing Mank to Roma, and one of the arguments I've heard is that they're similar and not as relatable, or people aren't going to vote for that. Totally valid argument. I just disagree with that. I think Roma was not as exciting for certain people. It obviously did brilliantly, winning 3 Oscars, including International Cinematography and, of course, Director for Alfonso Cuarón. But I think that when people watched Roma, they either said, this is brilliant, or they're like, yeah, it's pretty, but like, what else? I've talked to Academy voters who have voiced both of these opinions. Mank, I think, is not like Roma. Yes, it is for, I guess, film lovers, but I think it has the power to go a bit beyond a film lover. I think that a casual movie person can enjoy this film. Unlike Roma, because I'd say a majority of my friends and family I spoke to just couldn't quite get into it. They appreciated it, but just said it just did nothing for them. All this to say, I understand the comparison, but I think the two films are actually incredibly different. I am curious though. I'd love to know in the comments, do you think that Roma would have won Best Picture if Parasite had switched places with it? So if Parasite was where Roma was, and then Roma came out the year after? Let me know in the comments. Best Director. I'm still feeling Fincher, Zhao, and Sorkin. But lately, I've been pretty close to flipping Fincher and Zhao. I'm not ready to do that quite yet, but it is very possible that it'll happen in the near future. And then after these 3, I think it's just a race to see who gets nominated. I don't really see anyone stepping in front of them anytime soon. So I still like Regina King and George C. Wolfe, but I'm for sure not counting out Shaka King for Judas and the Black Messiah. Assuming that movie comes out before the deadline, I think this film has a shot to actually be a major sleeper. It could just come out and blow everything out of the water. Like, if a trailer could win an Oscar, it's that. This race is looking really good and hopefully really close. And I also just want to point out again, assuming these are the nominees, this would be the first time 2 women have been nominated in this category. Actress in a leading role. My friends, I think this is a ridiculous and insane race. Probably the acting category I'm most excited about. We could see my favorite female actor of all time take home her 2nd Oscar. We could also see Vanessa Kirby earn her 1st nomination and win. We could see Frances McDormand win her 3rd Oscar. You know what else? We could see Andra Day earn her 1st nomination and win. And we could also see Sophia Loren win her 2nd acting Oscar. Her 1st Oscar came nearly 60 60 years ago, when she won this award for 2 women. She also has an honorary Oscar, so this would actually bring her total to 3. No matter what, this category is unbelievable. And although I think anyone could win it, I think this is a 2-horse race between Viola Davis and Vanessa Kirby. I could genuinely see this going either way, but I think Ma Rainey has a bit more momentum as of today, and it's Viola, so she feels like the right person as of now. But let me be clear. If I were to put a percentage on just these 2 women, I'd put like 55% on Viola and 45 on Kirby. It's that close. I'm curious to see what reactions around the world will be when the 2 films come out. Also, be on the lookout for Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. That's a thing. That is something that is very likely to happen, and it would be amazing. Actor in a leading role. Chadwick or Hopkins, take your pick. Either are wonderful choices. I've seen The Father, and I can tell you with confidence that this is probably Anthony Hopkins' best performance in a very long time. However, he's going up against Chadwick Boseman. And again, I will only briefly touch on speaking about him because it still feels a little bit strange to talk about his Oscar chances. So what I will say is that I have heard that what he does in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is something that will go down in history. So unless there is a real change in the winds, I think this Oscar is already being engraved with Chadwick Boseman's name. Actress in a supporting role. We have a new winner. So I know you were all very excited to see what I would do here, and it's pretty bold. Because Hillbilly Elegy didn't do so well with critics, I'm a little worried that it is gonna hinder Close of finally winning that first Oscar. But I am not counting her out yet. A lot of people have taken her off their 5 completely. Go ahead, I'm not quite there yet. I still do believe her performance was fantastic, and she has a shot of getting this done. But the momentum has surely gone down for her. So again, I'm gonna be bold. And I'm gonna give this to Amanda Seyfried, who would earn her first Oscar and first win. I'm not sure how long this is gonna stay, but from what I know, she is one of, if not the standout in Mank. We'll all find out in a few days, but I'm gonna go with her. Also, don't be surprised if we see Ellen Burstyn sneak in here and win this thing. She won Best Actress for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore in 1975. So it would be a pretty remarkable story to see her return to the Oscar stage over 45 years later. And then last, Olivia frickin' Colman. If it were up to me, based on the performances that I have seen this year, I'd give this award to Olivia Colman without hesitation. She is on another planet in The Father. Do not count her out, my friends. Actor in a supporting role. We have a new winner. Yes, I switched it up because although there will be love for Bill Murray, I don't think that he's really getting the love or the momentum that I think usually happens about now. Granted, this is an unprecedented time, so we still have lots of time. So I'm gonna give this to Tony Award winner Leslie Odom Jr. He looked incredible in One Night in Miami, and based on reactions from the people who have seen it, this feels like a safe choice. Of all the acting categories, this is actually the one I struggle with the most, honestly. I haven't really felt like there's been a frontrunner here since we thought Chadwick Boseman was going supporting. I think this category could look like this, but I could also see it being a completely different set of people. We'll find out soon. Original screenplay. Still going with Aaron Sorkin and Trial of the Chicago 7. In a very political year, this film makes a profound statement, and I think that it will be rewarded. Unless Mank just dominates literally every single category. And if that's the case, if Mank wins this award, it's gonna win Picture and Director. If Chicago 7 wins this, I still think Mank will win the other 2, but I won't be as confident. So if Chicago 7 wins, I think that Director and Picture is up for grabs. But if Mank wins this, it's gonna win upwards of like 5 awards. Adapted screenplay. I'm not gonna move Nomadland until I really think I need to. But like I said last month, Nomadland is in trouble for this award. I know that text in Ma Rainey is supposed to be beautiful, thank you very much, August Wilson. And I also know that the Father screenplay was just magical. Hopkins and Coleman chewed the holy heck out of that, and it tasted so good. This isn't Nomadland's to lose. This is a 3 or even a 4-horse race, and it is very, very close. Animated feature. Big news, Wolfwalkers has moved up 1 slot. But do I think it'll beat Soul? No. I do think it has a lot going for it, but again, it's Pixar. And I know from many people who have said to me that this is maybe Pixar's best film ever. So although I've heard amazing things about Wolfwalkers, I just don't see this happening for them. But I do think this puts Apple TV Plus on the map. But it's Soul. And it's Pixar. It's always been Soul. And I'm gonna have a hard time changing it to anything else. And I will continue to say it when Pixar is nominated for an original movie, aka not a sequel. It has only lost twice. It's 8 out of 10 for original films. Cinematography. Mank, this is Mank, and I don't think it'll be close. Just look at it. With Dune out of the way, I think that Eric Messerschmidt is on his way to his first nomination and first win, which I believe is the first time that would ever happen, by the way. But if it's anything else, it's Nomadland. 2-horse race, but one of the horses is like 18 laps ahead. Making a lot of horse things. Production design. Nostalgia. Nostalgia. It's just a thing. The dominance is starting, my friends. If my calculations are correct, which they never are, this would be Mank's 4th win. And we're not done yet. Again, Dune's gone. Nothing is gonna stop the nostalgia. Nostalgia. Donald Graham Burt has created something so gorgeous and something that will make film lovers and casual movie watchers' jaws hit the floor. I expect him to take home his 2nd Oscar. Costume design. Going for Mank, but not as confident. I think this race is pretty much wide open. I can see this being all over the place. Because in this, we have at least 2 Best Picture frontrunners, and then everything else is just like a jumble of stuff. What's also crazy that if Emma gets a nomination, it will have been well over a year once the Oscars actually happen. That's crazy to me. Film editing. The editing in a Sorkin film is so specific, and it has to fit his fast-paced dialogue, and Oscar nominee Alan Baumgarten absolutely crushed this. And again, since 1934, less than 15 times has a film won Best Picture without at least a nomination in this category, so when you're making your predictions for film editing, keep that in your head. Makeup and hairstyling. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This is another one where you just have to look at some of these stills. I mean, the work this team did is extraordinary. It's not just about making an actor look like, something totally different or someone else. Sometimes it's just like, it's subtle things that a makeup and a hairstyling team can do. So whether it be what they did with Viola or the look on Chadwick, these artists are bringing us into their world, and it is very exciting to look at. But if it's not Ma Rainey and Dune isn't there, I think it may go to Hillbilly Elegy because Glenn Close does look pretty great. Sound. Just sound. Sticking with Nolan until I gain any something to switch it. I feel like it's also the only film I feel even confident about getting a nomination. Everything else kind of feels like it could go anywhere. But Nolan has a good track record here. His films have either won or been nominated 8 times in the past in the 2 sound categories, but now it's 1. So with that in mind, I'm gonna stick with him. But it's not a done deal. This one could truly go to anyone, and what will even get nominated is really not set in stone by any means. We could see 3 or 4 Best Picture nominees. We could see 0. I don't feel confident quite yet about any of these options except for Tenet. Visual effects. So I said 4 months ago that it's Dune versus Eternals versus Tenet. 3 months ago, I said it was Dune versus Eternals. 2 months ago, I said it's Dune versus everyone else. Last month, I said that it's Tenet versus Midnight Sky. And this month, I'm gonna stick with that. Tenet versus Midnight Sky. With so many of the blockbusters being delayed, it's an interesting lineup. It's the first time since 2015 that an MCU film won't be in the running. Will it go to a Nolan film? They've taken home 2 of these awards in the last decade. Or will it go to a space film, which have also done pretty well? One of those space films that won in the last decade, by the way, was a Nolan film, Interstellar. I need to give a shout out to Jingle Jangle because the animation in that film was outstanding and it needs to be recognized. Thank you very much. Original score. Still gonna stay with Soul, but Mank is climbing quickly. But for this month, going Pixar. This will also be the first time an animated film has won this award since Up. It would also only be the 9th time in the history of the Oscars that an animated film won this award. Either way, the people at the top are Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So whichever film it goes to, they seem to be in a pretty secure position to win this thing. But with the addition of the brilliant Jon Batiste, I'm gonna keep holding on to Soul for dear life. Original song. So, this category as of last month, is finally really, really exciting. The frontrunner since day one has been Billie Eilish, but because No Time to Die was delayed, this is wide open. Last month, I had Rocket to the Moon, and I think I'm actually going to switch it to something a little bit more timely. And that is Speak Now from One Night in Miami, written by Leslie Odom Jr. and Sam Ashworth. Over the Moon is still there, as is Diane Warren's song from The Life Ahead. Diane Warren is an 11-time Oscar nominee, and she is fighting for her first Oscar, and I definitely can see that happening here. International feature film. We have a new winner. Because The Life Ahead was not submitted, it obviously can't win. It was a pretty shocking move from Italy when they announced that they would instead submit the documentary titled Notturno. Given that they have the confidence to choose that over what many considered to be a frontrunner in this category, we should all probably reevaluate our documentary lineup. Anyway, with Life Ahead out, I think the clear and easy frontrunner is Another Round starring Mads Mikkelsen, and it has a very different tone than The Life Ahead. This film is about 4 friends, all high school teachers, who test a theory that they will improve their lives by maintaining a constant level of alcohol in their blood. So different than Life Ahead. And it sounds and looks great. Also, anything starring Mads Mikkelsen, I will watch, and I will watch with a lot of smiles. It's directed by 2-time BAFTA nominee Thomas Vinterberg. This is the frontrunner. Documentary feature. The documentary about COVID-19. That feels like the winner for Best Documentary this year. It puts a microscope under our government and its failure to handle the COVID-19 crisis, and it is political, it is relevant, it has everything it needs to win this award. Also, some will argue that Dick Johnson Is Dead is the clear frontrunner, and I won't argue with you, but what makes me nervous is that it did well at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, but we have learned in the last few years that that does not always result in a nomination. Look at Apollo 11 and Won't You Be My Neighbor. Both won Best Doc Feature, and neither resulted in a nomination, let alone a win. So we'll see what happens, but I'm treading very, very carefully with Dick Johnson Is Dead. Those are my predictions for the 93rd Academy Awards December edition. Let me know what you have predicted in the comments. Agree, disagree? Let me know. And so, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like this video, give me your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at mjoseph492. Like my page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/MaxJosephFilmPerson. Join the Amino live chat, which is open 24/7, 365. And if you really love me, please consider being a member of the channel, where you can get member-only content, guest interviews, giveaways, and lots more. You can even give me a film to review, a 10th of the month top 10 category or ranking, or a song to sing, and that video will be dedicated to you. Shalom, my friends.